Okay, in this very short video, I'm going to walk you through our ROI calculator. And if I said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Everything is about ROI. Okay, if you're spending money, you need to know how much that money is getting back to you in revenue. So we're on the same page you're on now. We're going to click Estimate ROI, and it opens up our slick little calculator here. And you only have to plug in three figures. Okay, your monthly AdWords budget, and you choose what you're comfortable with. We don't recommend less than $500 a month because you're just not going to get very much out of that. But $2,000 a month is probably reasonable. 1,500, something like that. So let's start with $2,000. Lifetime value of your customer is how much your average customer is worth to you from the time they start working with you to the time they leave for whatever reason. Okay. Now this is going to vary depending on the type of business you do. And what I want to really emphasize here is remember referrals. Okay, so let's say you're a decking company and your average deck probably costs, revenue would be $4,000 maybe, $3,000. Let's go conservative, let's go $3,000, okay? Now that's one job. Most decking companies, when they do a good job, they're gonna get referrals. So if you get 2 referrals over the lifetime of that customer, it doesn't have to happen in the first week or something like that, all of a sudden your lifetime value of that customer is $9,000. Okay, so I'm going to go conservative again. I'm going to stick with $3,000 and just say you sell 1 deck, no referrals. Okay, the closing rate of leads to sales. If you're getting good leads off your website, phone calls, request for a quote, something like that, how many of those leads are you converting to deals? Okay, so in this case, new decks. Number could be anything. You know this much better than I do, but I can tell you that the industry average is probably 25%. Again, let's go conservative, let's go with 20%. Okay, so we've got a monthly budget of $2,000, lifetime value of $3,000, and a closing rate of 20%. Now it says scroll down for results, and your estimated ROI is 568%. Now I'm going to walk you through the numbers just because a lot is happening in the back end of this calculator that needs explaining. So your number of visitors is going to be your AdWords budget divided by your cost per click. The calculator is using an average cost per click of $20 per click. And the reason it's doing that is because that's based on our results. Okay, so generally speaking, for a trades-based business, home improvement specifically, we're looking between $10 and $30 per click. That's a general rule of thumb, but we're using $20 to simplify this calculator, okay? Number of leads is going to be the number of visitors you get divided by our conversion rate. So our conversion rate for these AdWords campaigns is usually between 25% and 50%. So that's a visitor becoming a lead. So that's the number of leads we're going to get. Number of sales is going to be based on your conversion rate. So now we have these leads. I think we went with 20%. So that's going to give us 6.7 new sales. Okay, and the revenue is $3,000. That gives us $20,000 in new revenue. Okay, net revenue is going to be our AdWords costs, so the cost of your ads, which you pay directly to Google, minus our, plus, if you want to look at costs, it's going to be your AdWords costs, which you pay direct to Google, plus our fees, which is a monthly fee that kicks in after the first month, once you're happy with us. I'll explain that further below. And you take that out of your revenue. Okay, so that's going to be your net revenue. So if there's any questions about this, I've explained it a little bit down below. If these numbers don't jive with what you're seeing, okay, if the cost per click you think is too high or too low, just send us a message and I'll send you a different ROI calculator where you can actually change this cost per click. But that said, remember that your cost per click is going to be contingent on how well you set up your campaigns. Google is brutal for this. If you're not setting your campaigns up properly, or if your agency or your outsourcer or your brother-in-law is not setting these things up properly, you're going to pay too much. It's that simple. Okay, so if our cost per click looks a little low to you, it's because we're pretty good at setting up these campaigns, and our cost per click is going to be lower than 90% of those campaigns that are running out there. Okay, so I hope all this makes sense. Have fun with this calculator. The other thing I want to point out is if you offer more than one service, just use this calculator for each one of those services. So if you do siding, your lifetime value is going to be different, your close rate is going to be different. So just run it each time and then take note of the estimated ROI and then some of these figures down here, and then run it again for roofing, for example, or whatever you happen to offer. So there's no limit on how much you can use this calculator. Just have fun with it and really, really pay attention to ROI, because that is what it is all about. So thanks so much and enjoy.